So next we will explore the MLOps and CACD in the context of housing price prediction project. Okay. So we know what is MLOps. We discussed a while back. It's a set of practices that combine machine learning and DevOps to automate and streamline the process of deploying and maintaining the models in production, right? And the CACD stands for the continuous deployment. So in this demo session, right, we will use GitHub Actions to implement CACD for the housing price prediction model. Okay, and here is the project overview. This project predicts housing prices based on features like square footage and the number of bedrooms, because we have many, almost, majority 90% of the participants are beginner. I started with a very small thing. Okay, you just have only two features are there in your data set, and your data set name is this one, and these are the scripts, right? We are going to use it, the train.py. And so this is the structure of the project. Your train.py, predict.py. So this is the one trains your model. And the predict.py, it loads the train model and makes prediction. Okay. And then you have tests. So the file contains unit test for the model, the test model.py. And we have Flask, app. This one, the app file serves the model as a REST API. And then the CI/CD workflows, we have created a separate folder, a .github workflows folder. This is the folder in the GitHub, right? That contains the GitHub Actions workflows. Okay. Okay. So here, train.py and predict.py. So what is this actually? So this is what the data set given. The square feet, it contains the two features, the square feet and number of the bedrooms. This is the target. This is the one we want to predict it. So initially we need to train the model with these input features and the output feature. This is my model. The step one is we need to train the model with this data, right? The input features and the output, both the input and output features, we need to train the model. And then apply the train model on the unseen data to make the prediction. So in order to make the prediction, we have something like predict.py, and to train the model, we have something called train.py. These are the files that we have it separately. The first step is you need to train the model and then apply the train model on the unseen data by making prediction. Remember, guys, in Python, we have something called fit method and predict method, using which you can make a prediction. Okay, to train a model. Okay, these are the base, so especially in the case of machine learning, the supervised machine learning model, right? So you need to use fit and predict. These two things you need to remember it. Okay, this is very much important. Once you remember it, the same method you will use it for training all the other types of models, okay, like XGBoost, Random Forest, Cat Boost, or Light GBM. Okay, you name any supervised machine learning model, right? So fit and predict method is used for all the other types of algorithms. Hence, you need to remember this one. But both the cases, right? You need to specify the input features and then output features as part of fit. To train the model, you need to specify input and output features, isn't it? So as part of fit, you are going to specify it. To predict the unseen data, right? You need to specify the input features, and then, right, what you do is once you well, you need to specify only the input features. What it does is, right, you need to pass both the actual and predicted value. You will get some kind of error in the case of linear regression model. So with that, you can understand how well your model predicts. Okay, lesser the error, better the accuracy. That is the fundamental thing. I hope all of you must be knowing it. Here is the project structure. So housing price prediction CACD demo. This is how we have organized the folders in the GitHub. Okay. And here the .github folder has the subfolder called workflows. In that we have ca.yml and cd.yml. So what we did as a best practice, we kept the separate YAML file for continuous integration. As a best practice, we have used the other YAML file, cd.yml. It depends on your project, it depends on your customers, right? This is just the basic structure that I followed it here. The data housing in this folder, these are the files are there. What I will do is I'll just go to my GitHub and I'll show you, how this. One second, I just. Sorry, because some official things are there, office content. Okay, look here. This is what my folder structure. So the GitHub, this is what my GitHub URL, and here you can see the GitHub dot GitHub. So the MLOps CACD housing price prediction demo one, and here you can see dot GitHub workflows folder. I created it, and here you can see the cd.yaml file. This is where we have tied all the components as part of this workflow. I call this a workflow. Okay, this is your YAML file. In the case of GitHub action, you have to use the .yml files. Okay, to define the sequence of activity that needs to be executed. Okay, and then cd dot sorry this cd dot YAML continuous delivery, and similarly continuous integration. I have another .yml file is there. Okay, and in the data folder I have this one, and then models folder I have model.pickle, and this one got generated automatically. But anyhow, we will show you the scripts, everything, so that you will be able to understand here. Look here, I have the train.py file here. This is to train the model. So here I imported all the necessary packages, and then as I told you here, look here, the fit method, right? So here in this case, the linear regression, the class, we have initialized the class, then model dot fit, and this is your input features and the output features of your training data set. Okay, and then once we train this model, this is a training step, and what we are doing is I have stored this model. I stored this model in a models underscore model.pkl. We have seen already, right? We have a separate folder called models that is available in my GitHub folder. This one will get stored or saved in that models folder, the train.py. Okay. And then next one is I have the predict.py. And here the predict price, everything. So here we are reloading the model, the train model, and then we are predicting the models. Okay, that is the one we are doing it here. And second, I just go back here, and then we'll see. And then the scripts, like I showed you, you have train.py and predict.py, and then you have something called test. You have the test model.py. So this is where we test the model. Okay, whether the model accuracy is good or not. Right? If the model accuracy is not good, don't don't proceed with. Don't proceed further. Okay, so and then you have app.py if you want to deploy the model, or if you want to serve the model as a REST API, right? So you can use app.py, and then requirements.txt is there here. So this is what we mentioned here, numpy 1.3.5, something like that. And I just go back to my ca.yaml file. You can see in the CI pipeline, I mentioned on push, right? So I just enabled on in case any changes happens to your, or if you have commit anything, right? So it will automatically get triggered. Okay. The main branch, you can specify the which branch you want to trigger it automatically. In this case, I mentioned main, and push and pull request. Also, I mentioned the main branch, and here the Ubuntu, the virtual VM machine, right? Virtual machine Ubuntu will get that the OS is used, and these are the sequence of actions will get will be done. Okay, here if you see here the Python will get installed first, and then the flake8. This is for linting. What is linting? Anybody has any idea what is linting? What is linting? Okay, what is linting? So this is to check the syntax errors or the code style. Okay, and this is the code style to test that, right? We use linting, and then what we do is here I just for our purpose, right? I just mentioned if the model already exists, you skip it, or else you save the model in the models dot folder. Okay, this is actually not required. So once you need to specify the train model, because let's say you are training the model first time, each and every script you execute it individually in your environment, and if you find each scripts are working fine, what you do is, right, you create the folder, and then use the add command, and use the commit, right? Use the commit, and then you push the files to the GitHub. That's how you do it, right? So that's the first time that we do it, right? So but still, your model.pickle file, let's say, you are executing in your local environment and you have generated the model.pickle, you can upload it to your GitHub. Okay, you can use git add command and all, right, using which you can push those your local environment folder, entire folder data, right, you can push it to your GitHub. You can check in all the things to the GitHub. That's how we can do it. But this is for my testing purpose. I'm just checking whether this model is already there. You don't do anything. Don't upload the model.pkl. Otherwise, you do. But in reality, if you have to retrain your model, right, obviously model.pickle will change. For example, you get new data every 1 hour or every once in a week. So every week, right, what you do is you schedule, you do some kind of cron scheduling or something like that, or even the GitHub Action itself, you have some scheduling features are there. So you can schedule it. Okay. Here we just defined the sequence of tasks or the activities that needs to be performed in this workflow. Okay. Next one is the cd.yml. It's a very basic thing. Here also I mentioned about the dependencies, all the things, install it, and then right. So here, so that's what in the CD, right here I mentioned train.py again. Uh, there is a purpose behind this. Okay, I will explain you later. Look here. So now what happened? This is my endpoint, Flask app endpoint. This is what I mentioned it. I just go back to my this one here, and you will find something like 1 second. The actions button here. When you click on the actions, what will happen is it will take you to this GitHub Actions thing. And here you will find the CI pipeline and CD pipeline. This is the name I have given it to my ca.yml file. This is the name that I gave it to cd.yml file, right? If I click on this one, ca.ml, right, you can see that, yeah, here all the things are there, but I did not make any changes. What I do is I just go to my GitHub repository just to trigger this CI pipeline or CD pipeline. You can do manual trigger, or you can manual trigger in the sense that, for example, I just go to the readme.md. I must make some changes here. Okay, I just click on the pencil icon. I just make some smaller changes. Anyhow, I'm not using S3 now. Any of that one, I will show you to later in AWS. How do you do that? This is for just for testing purpose. Look here, I just committed. I just made one change here. And this for example sake, I'm doing it. Usually readme.md and all, we are not going to make changes. Even if you make changes, look here, now it is running, right? So update or md, when I click on ci pipeline, I could see that update readme.md. This is the file that I made changes in it. It runs for a while, and if you click on it, you can just see it here, right? So it will still run it. It has gone to the test thing. And I just go here and you can see that all these things are running, right? To set up the job, and these are the things, right? Happens sequentially, all the things. Set up checkout code and set up Python. Look here, this is where the Python is getting installed, everything, right? So everything, if everything goes well, so look here, the linting is also running here, okay? There are no errors. Everything works fine. It set up the Python, everything. It did a perfect job, right? You can see the green light. That means this workflow ran successfully. Okay. And if you scroll down further, run unit tests, everything ran perfectly. Look here, you can see 100%. Okay. And check if model exists. Yes, so it checks everything. And you can, you can put some condition also. You can specify some condition also in the workflow. Based on the condition also, you can trigger the model, sorry, workflow. Very simple, isn't it? Very simple here. Just one click or making a single commit. Let's say you are making some changes to your code, and when you commit it, as soon as it gets committed, the workflow gets triggered automatically. That is what we have seen. I just made a simple changes to the readme.md. It triggered. So you might be asking this question, guys, right? So the readme.md, this is a text file. This is not even a script file. So in that case, is it really make sense triggering my workflow? It is not required. This for demo purpose I have shown you. So, okay, how do I, make my, how do I tell the GitHub Actions to ignore the readme.md or the other log files also, right? In case of any log files or something like that, right? It should not get triggered. If any changes happens to the log file, let's say you are storing a log file and if the log files gets updated, it should not get triggered, okay? In that case, you have some dot getting ignore .getting-ignore file. You create a .getting.ignore file and you put it in the root folder. This is your root folder. This is my repository name. You just go here and you specify .getting-ignore there, wherein you can specify those files you don't want to be used as a trigger by your GitHub Actions. Okay, you can specify all those files there. Okay. This is a very simple example for you to understand how to get started with understanding CI/CD pipeline. So in this case, the ci.yaml, look here. It handles the continuous integration part, ci.yaml, okay? It runs linting and unit tests also you can include to ensure code quality and functionality whenever any changes or pushed or a pull request is created, okay? At that point in time also you can trigger it. And cd.emls, this is the one handles the continuous deployment. It trains the model and deploys the Flask app and tests it programmatically when any changes are pushed to the model. Okay, main branch importantly. Okay, you can use main branch only. We'll be using it, right? Yeah. So you might be asking this question: why two YML files for continuous integration and for the CD? Why we have to have so using two files? What do you say, right? It keeps your workflows modular, right? Making it easier to manage and debug each stage independently. Okay. Supposing you want to add any specific stage in a, the cd.yaml, you can go here, you can make changes. So what did we do? Just a quick recap. We set up CI pipeline to automatically to test the code changes, right? So for example, in our case, for demo purpose, I just use the readme.md file, and I have a set of other files. Okay, I have something like for even for housing price prediction we have different, see what we did, right? So we have created, we have more components. See, your workflow is something like, see, this is your workflow, right? This is your workflow. So guys, tell me what is pipeline? What do you mean by component? In the previous webinar, a couple of people, they asked this one and even they themselves are not clear. What is pipeline? What do you mean by the component? Okay, I just show you my code here. Okay, look here. So this is my notebook. Okay, here I did not use a .py file. Okay, this is my notebook, and I imported all the necessary package to train the same housing data set. And here I splitted the training and test data set. I trained my model, and then I saved the model, and then I reloaded the model to make a prediction. And look here, everything is there in my single code. Okay, single code. Okay, what if I have more number of features and if the, for example, if I want to do data feature engineering, what can I do here? So what can I do in the case of feature engineering? I want to some kind of feature engineering, data pre-processing. Again, I'm going to make the entire, I'm going to make the changes in this script. Manually, I need to click on this run button here. Okay. And again, in case of any error comes in, I need to find out which line the error comes in. I need to go and fix it. And it's a manual way of doing it, right? With the CI/CD, what we do is, right, we divide this entire chunk of code into manageable chunks, right? Entire piece of this code into manageable chunks, multiple manageable chunks. Something like, look here, I have something like um, train.py, okay, train.py. Instead of putting everything in a single file, right? So I just I have broken down I broken down this entire script into multiple components. These are the components: train.py, test.py, and you have something else called this is the one is for yeah. This is where we are checking it. So in this case, what we are doing is right the same test.py. We are checking if the model accuracy is up to the mark. For example, if my R2 score is only when my R2 score is more than 0.85, you do git add, okay, and then git commit and then git push. Otherwise, else, don't is not greater than 85. So there is no point in deploying my model if my model accuracy is not up to the mark or it is not meeting my, the threshold. Okay. Okay. This for data pre-processing, we have a separate component. So the data processing, right? We have separate component, and feature engineering, we have separate component. Okay. And for if you instead of having separate components, if you put it everything in a single file, later point in if you have to make a changes, your entire script has to rerun. There's a time taking process, and again managing the code is very very difficult. So for example here, so in this case, right, you started training your model with only two features. Later point in time, right, you want to do feature engineering. You want to include additional two features in it. So for that, the logic, I already mentioned it here. Right, the price per square feet, right, the existing feature, right, the price square feet, if square feet is greater than zero, if square feet is greater than zero, and then it applies this function, and then it does some kind of basically derives the new column based on some business logic, right? So the feature engineering has happened here. So in this case, what happened? If you have scripts separately, for example, you have data ingestion, you have a separate component like this. Look here, you have for data extraction, you have let the analysis be in your notebook, for example, exploration, right? So apart from the data ingestion, data pre-processing, you have a separate component, separate Python file, and you have something like the feature engineering, right? Feature engineering, separate Python file, the separate for each and every um, component. If you have the modular code, right? If you modularize your code instead of having everything in a single script, for example, you want to add two additional features to your existing data set. In that case, you just go and make changes only to this code. Okay. So the rest of them will get triggered automatically. Rest of them will get triggered automatically. That is what we do it in continuous integration, right? Continuous integration. The whole idea is we wanted to automate the train and test, right? If the model performance is up to the mark, you push it to the GitHub. Okay, that is what we do. But in the case of new data, when the new data comes in, what you do, right? You follow this MLOps life cycle. You must have heard about MLOps level 1 and level 2 maturity levels, right? You can also find it in the Google's page. But again, in our projects, we use different, our MLOps life cycle is slightly different. No, this one second. Okay, anyhow, with this itself, I can tell you, I think they put it somewhere else. This is the traditional way of doing the deployment, right? So you extract the data and then you pre-process the data and do the feature engineering and you train and test the model and evaluate the model and you push the code to the GitHub. And then what you do is, right, you build the Docker and then build the Docker image and push the image to ECR in the case of AWS. And then what you do is you serve the model to your endpoint, which is there in your AWS or Azure or GCP environment, and then you monitor it, right? So you monitor this here. There is no CD CI. Okay, everything is manual. Okay, so let's say you have for this, right? If you have the script available in your notebook, that is enough, right? You train the model, everything, you test it. But for example, if you want to make any feature engineering later point in time, you want to add additional features, again you need to run the entire code unnecessarily, right? Your data remain, for example, your data remains same, but you need to the feature engineering based on the existing feature, you want to add additional columns. With that newly added columns, you want to train the model. So in that case, all you need to just hit this one and the rest of them will be automated in the case of CI and CD. Okay. So MLOps maturity level 1, it focuses more on the continuous training. In case of new data comes in, automatically detect the new data and then automatically build and test and deploy the model. That is the idea of MLOps maturity level 1. So the key focus is on continuous training. Okay. Sorry, maybe in the next session, right, I will show you I think they shared me the older version of the PowerPoint. Okay. So this is how you do it, right? So typically you do it like this. And then, right, this is kind of your pipeline. This kind of your pipeline. So this one, you will be mentioning it in your workflow. What is the difference between workflow and pipeline? Anybody has any idea? See, in our case, right, the ci.yaml in the GitHub action is a workflow configuration file. That is where we define the series of jobs and steps, right? That it gets executed when triggered by specific events. Whenever there is a commit to your GitHub, it automatically triggers this the workflow, right? This workflow acts as an automated pipeline, right? So that is like a running task, like building, testing, and deploying your code. All the things you can do it. That is what you do. So pipeline is subset of your workflow. Pipeline is subset of workflow. Each pipeline contains the series of tasks. Okay, the series of tasks. Anyhow, we'll discuss about the maturity level 1 and 2 in the next webinar. Most likely it will happen on the Monday. Yeah, maybe the pipeline is the one, the thing through which data flows. Workflow may be an entire thing that integrates pipeline too. Okay. What do you mean by pipeline is the thing through which data flows? Okay, workflow may be an entire thing. You are partially correct. Workflow may be an entire thing that integrates pipelines too. Okay. So pipeline is, we can say pipeline is subset of your workflows, right? You can say that way also. In our case, we have seen, right, the data ingestion.py, data preprocessing.py, feature.py, train.model.py, unit test, integration test, right? So can we call this as a pipeline? Automate, yeah. So right. So once you create this one, right, you can automate this using workflow. Yes, you are correct. Yes, Lucky, you got it. Very good. Yeah, the next one is right. We are going to, we are going to give a demo on the complete end-to-end. Since I have majority of them are the freshers, right? We just started with the basic stuff now, and we will take a deep dive in the YAML y dot YML file in the subsequent session. We'll explain it everything in detail. And also we will see the other GitHub, the CI/CD tools, okay, and how to work with AWS and GCP multi-cloud environment, how to deploy the model, and how do we deploy the model using TensorFlow, serving, and so on, right? All the advanced basics to advanced level, we'll take a look at it. Stay tuned, okay? Any questions so far, guys? Senior, this wraps up the session. Hope you got a fair amount of idea. Okay, so what MLOps is all about, and why do we need to use MLOps, and what exactly GitHub Action is all about, right? So what is the .yml is the key there, right? So that is where you can define the workflow, and the workflow you define all the the sequence of activities. Yeah, conditional activities, right? How based on some condition, how do we trigger that and all? We'll see it in the upcoming session. Okay. Yeah, airflow, everything will be covered, Sweta, correct. Airflow, yes, Airflow is for orchestration. We have a demo on so we have used extra large instance in EC2. With that, we'll show, and the AWS EMR also will be covering it. The clustering setup, how to set up the cluster, and the Spark, how to do the data pre-processing. See, in the real world scenario, we work a majority of the time to do the data processing, everything using PySpark or Spark, okay? Because the volume of the data are very, very huge. Yeah. Sure, Chandana, we'll share it. Share me your, yeah, so what you do is, right, you just share your WhatsApp number also. Our organizers will coordinate with you. They will share it with you all, okay? Yes, it will happen. So going forward, we plan to have every once in 2 days the session. It's going to be full-fledged hands-on session. Okay, so we will share the data set, everything. You need to complete the assignments whatever we give it to you, and based on which, right, we will also help you out on the job opportunities down the line. We have HR team, a couple of people are helping us. So we have other guys also going to contribute the MLOps, the experience whatever they gained, right? So in the upcoming sessions, two more MLOps engineers, senior MLOps engineers also, they will be presenting the session on the GCP and other things. Okay, the Azure also. Okay. We will also create a plan to create a WhatsApp community. You can also join there, and you can send if you have any questions also, right? Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to end the session now. See you all in the upcoming session. And those of you want to take this to the next level, and if you want to become a MLOps engineer within the 8 to 12 weeks time, you just get back to us. We have some training programs, paid training programs. Okay, but any of this one will happen every once in 2 days demo session. If you are really interested, you let us know. We have daily sessions for the training for the paid training program. Okay, daily training sessions are happening. One is morning time and other one is in the night time, and the evening session one program is happening, that is for working people. Okay, all right, Chandana, I will do that. What is your background, Chandana, by the way? Oh, you already mentioned it, right? Okay, I'll just share that, no problem. I just noted down. All right, guys, so by the way, enroll in UG data science. Okay, what I will do is I will share our organizer contact number. You can also note it down in case of any issues or something like that. You let us know. Uh, We will also plan to create some WhatsApp group, okay, and community, so that you can also be part of that, and we will share any updates. Okay, anybody wants to, okay, if anybody wants to join or something like that, right? What I will do is, one second. Okay, one second here. I just show you here. Those of you interested, okay, you can visit this website and you can make the payment for the training program. This is going to be a 12 weeks training program with placement assistance, everything is there, and pay for enroll. This is the URL wherein you can do the scan here, QR code scan, and you can also join for that if you are really serious and if you want to complete it within the shorter span of time and get placed with higher salary. You can scan it now, or at least you can make some, the registration amount, right? The token advance or something like that. Okay, at least 1,000 or so you can make it now, and then rest you can make it tomorrow. And especially those of you attend today's session, right? You will get the discounted amount, 8,999. Okay, 8,999, and you can make the registration by making 1,000 rupees as an advance payment. But the training will happen on a daily basis. Yes, it'll be yes, Sweta. Swati, correct. Yes, Sweta. So this is going to be a placement oriented training program. Not only help you to upskill, and those of you are already working on it, and also those of you looking for career change, domain change, and if you are looking for, let's say you are a fresher and you are looking for a junior MLOps engineer job opportunity, something like that, will definitely help you out. Okay, good. Sweta, she made 1,000 rupees now as a registration, right? Okay, good. I made the payment 1,000 rupees, sir. Okay, fine. The remaining amount we make it tomorrow, okay? Because we are going to have only limited number of participants, only 12, not beyond that, because we need to focus. We need to give one-on-one attention. If we have more number of participants, we cannot give that. Hence, all right, yeah. So you make the payment tomorrow, because if we get more other requests, right? So we cannot accommodate. Already 7 seats were full. Remaining 5 seats are there. Those of you interested, you just contact our organizer. By the way, Sweta, what you do is you get in touch with our organizer. Okay, I just shared the number, right? You can just check with him, and then who is Varsha? Okay, Varsha made the payment. What's your name? Varsha. Okay. Anyhow, I will ask our organizer to check the amount, right? And then we will get back to you. Okay. So Varsha, you made 1,000 rupees, right? Okay, fine. So we make the remaining amount tomorrow, the payment, so that we are going to start the new batch tomorrow morning itself. Okay. Maybe our other guys will start the introduction part. Okay, three of us will be covering all the topics. Okay, intermittently we will be jumping in here and there. Okay. Fine. Varsha and Sweta, you just contact our organizer, right? They will do the necessary thing and they will include you in our WhatsApp communities also. Okay. Others also will include in the WhatsApp community. And you can also share your WhatsApp number. Okay. Definitely will include you there. Okay, guys. Thanks for joining. See you all on this upcoming Monday.